I wanted to go over a technique for how to add some subtle width to your bass just within Serum. This is the track that we're working with.
So I get out of Colorado. We added up, but what do
And this was the bass before. So we can see obviously that the bass is in mono, there's no side information. And here's the bass after. So it has a little bit of width and it has some movement to it. Let's hop into Serum and see how I was able to do that. This technique is really about being aware of all the different layers, so these different oscillators of the bass, where they're existing frequency-wise, and then figuring out which one of these layers we want to add some width or some movement to without that completely changing like the phase relationship of our bass or having it sound terrible when we collapse it down to mono. I'm going to solo each of these oscillators individually so we can see where that layer is existing frequency-wise. So let's start with the sub. By the nature of this bass line is jumping around a little bit, but again, our sub is actually playing our sub frequencies. So now let's take a look at oscillator A. So this layer is kind of existing a little bit in the sub frequencies and the low mid. So we're actually going to start to hear this layer because it has these upper harmonics. Now let's check out oscillator B, which is the last layer. Oscillator B is that main sound that we hear, right? It's a pretty full sound up to, about 1,000 hertz here. And that's really the main layer that we hear. So in this case, I wanted our sub layer to stay in mono, and I didn't want to add too much movement to that main oscillator B because I wanted that to have a strong middle presence as well. That really leaves us with oscillator A, which is kind of a subtle layer for the bass. And that's where I ended up adding some width and movement. So all I did was assign LFO1 here to the pan knob on oscillator A, and that's going to tell oscillator A to move back and forth between the left and the right speaker. So I have the imager back up and let's see what that looks like. And then if I bring the other two layers back in, and I can see from the correlation meter here, we aren't running into any weird phasing issues. And you can be even more drastic with it if you want to. Now, if I collapse the whole bass down to mono, I don't hear any, and I'm not really seeing any weird phasing issues either. We still have a really strong bass signal. I hope that helps, and yeah, hit me up if you want to work together.